Come on in.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, not too much. Great timing.
Yes.
So I have a buyer under contract,
Okay.
and I just thought to myself, I'm going to create a video about what happens next steps.
Okay.
Okay, so we just went under contract. What can my buyer expect now?
Well, I would think the next major thing you're going to be doing is the inspection, home inspection.
Okay. Like every good contract, you have terms and timing, right?
Correct.
So how much timing do we have in an inspection?
10 days.
10 days from...
So when you go under contract, that's 0 day. So
Yeah.
actually the first day under contract is day 0. That doesn't count.
Okay.
So the 10 days will start the day after that. And it's 10 days.
10 days.
And so I recommend getting on that right away.
Okay. So we schedule the inspection. Whose choice is the inspector?
That's the buyer's choice.
The buyer's choice. So what would that look like? So, a buyer may not have a relationship with an inspection company.
Yes.
What does that look like in a typical transaction?
Well, I always leave it up to the buyer. I say, hey, do you know of any inspectors? Do you have any inspectors or any people you know? Most of the time, people don't have those kind of contacts. But every once in a while they do, and that's fine. If they don't, we have 3 of our home inspection partners that we refer to our clients.
Awesome. Okay, so we've chosen our inspection company.
Okay.
We've created our schedule when they're going to be there. What happens now? What happens during the inspection?
So I would highly recommend getting on the inspection ASAP because I have found that time flies by. And what you don't want to have happen is you don't want to be inspecting the house on the 7th and 8th day, be looking at the Binzer, formulating your response, everything else to get it done by the end of the 10th day. Because if you miss the end of the 10th day, you're taking the home or property as is.
Right.
So I usually set up my inspections on the 2nd or 3rd. I mean, the earliest the better for myself and my clients, of course. But I always recommend, you go under contract one day, you say hooray, the next day you book the inspection for the day or the day after that.
Okay, do you go to your inspections?
Kind of. I kind of go to my inspections, just like I recommend to my clients, they kind of go. Something that's always asked is, should I be there for the entire inspection? And my answer is 100% no. That is our employee that we have hired to inspect our property. I want that employee to be 110% focused on looking at that property, not talking to me, answering my questions, pointing out everything that's wrong or good with the property. There's a time for that, and it's not during the inspection. So we usually show up after the inspection. That's what I highly recommend every single solitary time for my client and myself. Show up at or near the end of the inspection and let the inspector, our employee, wrap up their job and give us the results.
Okay. What I found is that it's a great opportunity for the inspector to, sometimes there's a particular part of a home is called something that either we're not familiar with or the new home buyer isn't familiar with. So it's a great opportunity for the inspector to point to it and say, that's the flux capacitor or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
I actually really enjoy going to the homes of the home inspector, my clients, because it's not really a positive or negative thing at that time. It's just a fact-finding mission. Obviously most reports seem to be around 40 pages. I've had a couple home inspectors tell me it's about 1 page per year of stuff that's wrong. I don't need to look at the entire report. I just look at the summary report, So 10-year-old home, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages. And it's most of the stuff they find is super minor stuff. My best clients ever that were so incredibly meticulous with their home actually had 10 things show up on their home inspection report. They thought nothing was going to show up. Not one thing. Because they fix everything. The point is, things always show up. Most of them are very small. We're not really concerned with the small stuff.
Okay, so we got through the inspection report. We have the inspection report in our hand.
Okay.
Now what happens?
So I usually tell my clients, the day of the inspection, let's not go crazy. Let's just take a breather. Let's actually look at the report. Let's review the report. Let's chat about it. You got 10 days to make this whole thing happen. Hopefully you have them inspected on the 2nd or 3rd day, which means now you've got anywhere from 7 to 8 days to think about it. Take a day, ponder it. Let's chat back and forth. But when we figure out what's wrong with the home and what we would ask for it to be repaired, then we start creating our Binzer, which is our buyer inspection notice of repair.
So
It's called RINSR, the residential buyer's inspection notice.
All right, so let me ask you this. So I'm a buyer, and you know, I loved everything about the house. Nothing seems too scary to me,
Okay.
except there's an orange wall, and
Okay.
and then there's this electrical junction that was, you know, we got the warning from the inspector that it was dangerous,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So I want them to address this junction box that appears to be dangerous,
Okay.
and I want them to repaint that orange wall.
Sure.
What would your consultation sound like if?
Well,
if
I can
you were-
tell you on a home, if that's the only two things you're worried about, that inspection was amazingly good. I always tell my clients, don't sweat the small stuff. You know, is there anything broken with an orange wall? No. No, it's not the right color you want. But if the whole rest of the house is perfect and there's one orange wall, just close the deal, get the house, go out and buy a $40 gallon of paint and paint the orange wall tan to match the rest of your house. I just, you know, cosmetic things we usually don't address in the inspection reports.
Right.
Anything plumbing, electrical, HVAC,
Safety related.
pool, safety related, you know, lack of smoke detectors or smoke detectors don't work, you know, automatic garage doors not closing correctly, all those things. You know, fire stops into the garage. You know, the attic sometimes are missing the proper, you know, fire stop material.
Yep.
Those are the things we'd address. So Axe 100% would address the electrical issue without fail.
Right.
The orange wall, you know.
Okay. So we supply our Binzer to the listing side, and we're just waiting to hear back. Now they could say yes to everything. They could
Yes.
say yes to some things. They could say no
To everything.
to everything.
Correct.
So this is truly a negotiation at this point.
It's a negotiation. So when we submit our Binzer and we figure out what we want to do, let's use your example. We're just going to ask for the electrical box. Let's just say we're asking for both. Let's say my client, your client says, "Yep, I want that orange wall painted." So we're going to take that. We do what our clients ask. We can give advice. We can consult. But we do what our clients ask. So I would recommend that they don't ask for that. But if they ask, we'd submit that Binzer to the listing agent, and now they have 5 days to respond back to us. They can do one of three things. They can say yes to all, no to all, or a combination of, you know what, we're not going to do everything, but we're going to do these things. That's
Okay.
what I see the most.
Okay, so let me play the listing side. So
Okay.
what I would instruct my seller to do is you want to be able to sleep at night. Let's get any concerns relating to the electrical box
Agree.
fixed.
Agree.
Make sure that they're safe. So this new young family going in has, you know, a great start on their
Sure.
new home. I would tell them, you know what, we're just simply not going to paint that wall
That's what I would expect,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
because it's aesthetics.
I would be telling that to my client too. I'd be saying, hey, you know what, this is not my first rodeo. I've seen people say yes to weird things and no to things I absolutely would have thought they would have said yes to. But in this particular case, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes to the electrical, no to the paint. So we're going to get your response back to us that basically says we're going to check that middle box. We're not going to do everything. No to paint, yes to electrical. Now we have, is it 3 or 5 days? I
5
forget.
days.
5 days to respond back to them, and our response is very simple. Our response is yes or no.
Right.
Right? I mean, I don't think there's another from there. You know, it's either yes, you're going to accept it as is, or with the repairs they're going to make, or that's your out.
All right. Well, that's kind of the inspection report. Anything else you can think of during that process?
No, there's the two biggest things I would think, really, the two biggest things I would say, my two things would be, A, don't follow the inspector around.
Right.
You are asking for problems. They're going to miss things because they're going to be talking to you. You want 100% of their focus on your property, finding what's wrong with it and what's right with it, not instructing and babysitting me or you. I don't show up either. I do not show up until the end. Always show up at the end. Give them time to finish. Our inspection companies we use, our two preferred vendors, both are super great, provide reports to everybody at the end. They'll go through everything on the computer, and then they will take the time to walk you through the residence to show you exactly what's right and wrong, or answer any questions you have. That's the perfect time. And then B, get on your inspection early, get on it early. I guess one more thing is just be careful what you ask for. I mean, you can ask for everything, but they can say no, and many times they will. So I always say focus on the big things, don't sweat the small stuff.
Well, and I just want to key in on that point as well. So I always tell, my clients, the Binzer isn't a cost center.
Yes.
It's a place where we make sure the home is safe.
Yes.
For us going into it. Period.
Right.
It's not a cost center for us to,
you're not remodeling the home.
Make a grip of cash before we move.
No.
So, all right, man. Well, thanks for your advice.
Thank you.
Have an awesome day.
Thanks.